To our list of requests, and that is, it doesn't cost a penny to stop the abuse. That's what reparations is. It's from the Latin, as Sister Esther taught me. It's from the Latin, to repair. Let's stop the abuse, the ongoing abuse that continues, whether it's in our local communities, with people people of colour being excluded from organising community events, from the disproportionate, someone mentioned earlier on, of arrests made to our black and brown brothers and sisters. I'm Councillor Scott Ainslie. I'm the leader of the Green Group on Lambeth Council. I'd like to start by thanking with a libation, because I feel as though it's such an important thing to summon up all the voices of the past that have led in this struggle, and to remember the over 15 million souls that were trafficked, humanly trafficked across the oceans to be used as slaves. So I personally feel and hear the ancestors summoned up into this room every time I get up. We're all from the same African mother, after all, are we not? Yeah. I think it's really important that we remember to connect with the stories of our past. And my personal story on this journey is when I've been a Lambeth councillor for 11 years, and in 2019 I was elected to the European Parliament. And as the London Green Party member of the European Parliament, I went on a reparations march because someone handed me a leaflet, and one of the black members of the Green Party said, "You should go." So I went, and there weren't that many white faces in there, and I got speaking to this gentleman, and we walked 6 miles from Brixton to the centre of London. That was Kofi Mawuli-Klue. And I said, "I think the Green Party have got a policy on reparations. Would you mind looking at it?" He read it, and he said, "Scott, this is quite good, but the problem with it talks about state-led solutions." Now, the problem with state-led solutions is, someone like Cameron will go to Jamaica and say, "I'll give you £10 million to build a new prison." There the abuse continues, right? So, I said, "Luke, will you work with me and we'll reform the text?" And what Esther, Kofi, and some of my colleagues came up with was a text that was cross-party, by the way, and I must honour Sonia Winifred, who is a leading member of the Windrush generation. She was a councillor who was in the Labour Party, but she left because she was treated really badly for supporting a humanitarian motion on Gaza. And she was cross-examined in a way that no human being should be. So she left, and now she's joined the Green Party, I'm happy to announce. And I know why I'm here. Sometimes I wonder, how can I possibly justify inviting me here? And it's to be a constant provocation to the Labour Party and the Labour movement. And it's to get them to do the right thing, because when we passed the cross-party motion in Lambeth, the landmark motion, back on the 15th of July 2020, please read the text, because it honours everyone that led to this stage where we got to. Labour don't like it. They've started limiting the amount of words you can put into a motion. It's absolutely despicable. So we passed the first ever landmark motion in July 2020, and I invite you to read the text, to get the United Kingdom government to atone and begin a reparative justice process for the transatlantic trafficking of enslaved Africans. That was passed there because it's home to the largest African diasporan population in the United Kingdom. And of course, we have Windrush Square in the centre of Brixton. And then we passed similar. So the idea was, and it came out of some thinking and chatting, was that if national government fails to show leadership, let local government lead the way. And the whole idea was that also state-led solutions, yes, they're important and they're up against it, but you can begin to heal in your own communities. And there should be nothing about us without us. I see so many times in my surgery people with black and brown faces that have poor housing, that are living in poverty, that are struggling to keep food on the table. And this is why we came up with, there is no environmental justice. There is no social justice. There is no economic justice without racial justice, because it affects black and brown people living in this country, and we see it with ongoing racism. So look, I have lots more to say, but I'm conscious I want to give the floor to other people. I just want to say the Green Party have led on this. So from going from Lambeth, we passed a motion in the Islington Council, the London Assembly. The big coup was passing a motion, and I have to thank Afrikan Cleo Lake, the former former mayor of Bristol, for helping to pass the motion in Bristol. We've got to do this in Liverpool, in Manchester, in Edinburgh, in Glasgow, in every single council that benefited and has remembered enslavers rather than the enslaved. That balance has to be redressed at a local level, and people must have places to meet. The Green Party of England and Wales, months later, were the first political party in the United Kingdom to pass a motion to get the UK government to atone and begin a reparative justice process. Now, since then, the Green Party of England and Wales has created a global majority, Greens, and they have brought forward, and we unanimously passed the motion to get for the Green Party to be the first party to have at its roots and in its structure an anti-racism policy, so that every single platform, this operation within the framework, puts anti-racism at the heart of a party structure. And that is led by a racism policy working group. Look, there's a lot more that I'd like to say. I think that one thing I'd like to finish on, and it's this, is that, and people have touched on it earlier, as I go on and I think about this, and I'm reading a book at the moment called The Finance Curse, which talks about how this sort of Western extractivism, the white European model it's broken us away from our sense of humanity. We've disassociated ourselves in a way that we're handing profits, the way things are run, the way things are governed, to a bunch of psychopaths. They really are. And that's why I think, and I spoke to someone in the speaker's room earlier on, who was talking about the impact on us all of this white ecocentricism, which must be addressed, because that extractivism is stopping us from working within planetary boundaries. That is extracting wealth where the top 20 families in this country own more than 50% of the rest of the 50% of us. So this is an issue that we have to address. And look, we're up against it, okay? We're up against the broligarchy that now control on the online world and algorithms and all that kind of stuff. But let's begin to heal locally. Let's begin to heal nationally. Let state-led solutions be led from the grassroots up, not from the top down. And I want to finish with a question that's a provocation. So if countries can't admit that they're wrong and they wish to atone and begin a reparative justice process, what's happened to the offers from companies like Green King, Guinness, all the banks, all the universities, all of these people who have said, we admit that the Quakers, that we have done wrong, we've benefited in the past. What's happening with them? I want to hear that in this room today. I want to hear what's happened to the tokenistic sums that they've handed out. They scooped away with a big claw hammer, a big, one of those things that extracts a lot of stuff. But what they're offering back is a tiny little baby fist in compensation. So I want to hear what's happened to those guys and what's happened to those companies. Thank you very much.